Hello everyone, welcome back to Yield Today with Dallin, Candland, episode number 57. We're talking about getting more smiles out of your life. Think of this as a sequel to Cracking Yourself Up, which was the third episode of the podcast, where I talked about ways where we could all get more laughs out of our life. One of the main tips was about remembering the journey that you're on and how that is so powerful, and knowing where you're going and where you're headed and just enjoying it and laughing along the way. Because the best version of the person that you want to become should include an ample amount of laughter. And so with that said, let's jump into the episode. So a lot of the stuff from the Cracking Yourself Up episode is going to apply here. So definitely give that episode a listen as well, because I love that episode and a lot of other people did too. So yeah. My first tip is to live in the present. With living in the present moment, that means you are taking advantage of the opportunities of today. So when I was living at this one apartment complex my first semester, there are people I would run into that I have not run into ever since then, because maybe they were on a different semester track, maybe they moved, maybe anything could have happened. And so whenever I would walk to class, there were people I met, and I try to make the most of those opportunities. And I try to live in the present moment. One great way to live in the present moment is to be thinking and to be focused and to just live and to just exist. And one way to do that is to have things that you're excited about, things that you enjoy doing, things that you're looking forward to for that day. That helps you stay focused for what's going to come, and it helps you to perform in the moment. Something that helped me a lot with this is giving out gum to people, compliments, sharing scriptures, just talking with them, journey, what I talked about as the third tip in the giving immediate value episode. I don't even remember what episode that was, but it was another good one. So definitely one to check out. But yeah, I think living in the present is so underrated and overrated at the same time, which honestly, how does that make sense? I'll try to unpack it for you. So with planning things out, you are often living in the future. At least you're trying to create your future. With the past and with learning from things, you're of course living in the past. With living in the present though, a lot of times you are doing the best you can with the plans you have and trying to learn and gather lessons and ideas. When I'm meeting new people, when I am just, living life and enjoying the elements, regardless of the season, just enjoying the season. Right now, there's a lot of snow on the ground where I'm at in Rexburg, Idaho. And there are different things that you can enjoy in winter that you cannot really enjoy in the spring. You can't play in the snow in the spring. You can't slide on the sidewalk in the spring. And although these things might be irritating to some, for me, I just try to connect them to previous memories, like when I got to go to the ice caves recently, back in the summer. That was a blast. Oh, so good. And I link back to those memories. And you notice I've already smiled a number of things on this podcast, and a lot of that is from choosing to live in the present, enjoy the journey, right? So like right now, I'm a junior in college, and I'm trying to start up these little side businesses with the self-development content, reach out to a lot of people, but who knows where I'll be in the next year, next 10 years, etc. Need to enjoy the moment and keep moving forward and enjoy the things that I have here. I'm rooming with a really awesome guy right now, and at some point he'll be married and everything is just gonna be different. And so you just gotta enjoy the moment. The person that I was rooming with when I started this podcast, Aaron Denny, we're not roommates anymore, although we still hang out all the time. Not enough. But when we spent a lot of good time together and everything, but we're not roommates anymore. And so it just kind of puts things into perspective. Number 2 is being thoughtful. So when I am thinking of other people, somehow, some way, I'm always getting more smiles out. Whether it's like on a phone call with doing a call center or doing a podcast interview, when I'm like thinking of somebody else and thinking of something I can do to help them out, I can't help that but smile and be like, this is gonna help them out, and I'm so excited to share it. I got to talk with my friend Jackson, who I met on my mission trip, and he's thinking of starting a podcast, and I just had a great time reminiscing and everything with him, and it was just super awesome to spend that time with him. And so you can think of this in two ways. You can think of being thoughtful, of thinking of other people, but you can also do it by thinking of yourself. There are some people that I think of having the key to my laugh box, and I hope I'm that for some people. But basically when I say this, I mean like when I spend time with them, I will just laugh and just have a glorious time. And laughter is like such the best medicine. Man, it is so good. And so I try to spend as much time with those people as possible because they're progressive, they're looking forward, they care about me, and they also are hilarious to me. So people like my cousin Clark and one of my companions, Trent Patterson, and Aaron's a lot of fun too, and Tim. You know, I try to spend a lot of time with them. And that's because I know that it's going to make me smile. And when there's more smiles in the day, there's more smiles in my soul. And it just kind of connects and it adds to everything. Because you think of like when I was in high school and I really had these days when I struggled to smile. Braces were the, I was about to say braces were the devil. They were not. They were just a thing that was holding me back for a time, and I let them hold me back. And they were just a difficult thing. But once they were off, man, that was a glorious, glorious day. But anyway, doing those little things goes a long way. When I'm thinking of somebody else and trying to really think of their best interests, I'm often smiling and thinking of how can I help this person? And it just really adds up, and it really just puts a spring in my step. Like even today, like I was walking back from class. No, I was on the way to class on my scooter, and I saw this kid, and I was just like, I want to go talk to him. So I just went and talked to him, and he was like completely chill and said nothing and kept walking. Even though I was like, yo, what's up? And nothing. But I felt the acceptance. I felt the love. I felt the smiles that I gave him. I felt all of it. And just another quick hack that I learned in college is like when I would give a compliment to a girl or to somebody else, say like they have a nice smile or something, and they don't accept it, and I probably have said this on the podcast before, I redirect it back on myself. It's like, wow, Dallin, you do have an excellent smile. You do have a great shirt on today or something. And so it's just like, oh, thanks, Dallin. And so you get to use it, and the compliment's not a waste. So that's number 2. Oh, actually, there's one other thing I wanted to say. So back to my roommate, Ryan Bell, right now, who is super awesome and makes a lot of fun desserts and treats for me and my roommates right now. He made these Rice Krispie out of Fruity Pebbles. Just a second, I'm going to go get it for the video. This beauty! Look at this! Oh, so good. Marshmallows with Rice Krispie treat, but it's not Rice Krispie treat, it's Fruity Pebbles. Oh, so good. So one of my friends, one of the people that I was a mentor to 2 semesters ago, no, like a year ago, he told me that he likes desserts. And so we've just been in touch, and I ran to him at the library and was like, hey, can I drop something off today? He's like, sure. And I'm excited. I'm so pumped to go over to his house because I know it's going to make a difference. And that's what being thoughtful is all about, is knowing it's going to make a difference. And not just that, but thinking of what would actually help the other person. Because I've heard of, products and companies and other things, and they'll gift a thing, but like give them some beer or something. It's like, here's some beer. Now we're best friends, right? It's like, no, I don't like beer or something like that, Because if you're not thinking of the other person, then it's not going to be helpful. It might even build feelings of remorse because you weren't thoughtful enough to think ahead. So anyway, some quick thoughts there. Number 3 is planning ahead and embracing ambiguity. So planning ahead, I smile because I'm recording this episode on Tuesday and it's not even coming out till next Monday. So hallelujah to that. A pat on the back, smileys all around. I am so happy with that. The fact that we're getting this done early and so I can work on my econ final, not econ final, my econ test for this week. I can work on these other things and not be bogged down, not have to worry. I can get it done. That's planning ahead. That brings smiles. I also had this quiz today for reading From Good to Great, which is a really good book. And I started reading it about 2 weeks ago. I was hoping to read the whole thing and then start reading it for the class, but it was kind of a heavy book, and so I wasn't able to get that far, but I was able to do the required reading without too much of a problem. And I got 11 out of 10 on the first quiz. Whoop-de-whoop. And so it was a big eye-opener, like, planning ahead is just so good. Because it wasn't my intelligence that helped me do well on that quiz, really. It was the consistency of reading it. You know, I didn't, like, blow through it in one day. I read a little bit of it each day, and so there was time for that spacing effect to really soak into my soul. And it made me smile to not only to get that grade, but just to know the answers. And I was just like, I took the quiz in like 2.5 minutes, maybe. I don't think I changed any of my answers after I took it and before it was graded. And the other part is embracing ambiguity. Oh, this is so good. But you have to be really careful. I think this kind of goes back to living in the present. Actually, it's pretty much the same thing. But embracing ambiguity is basically like being okay when things are not going your way and just appreciating the things that you can control. And just, you know, being like, all right, well, this is cool. And this is awesome. And knowing that things can change at any second. And so you just have to make the most of whatever happens, come what may, and love it, right? And for some reason, this camera is moving too much. I need a better setup for the video, but we will get one at some point. But embracing ambiguity is like open arms, just be like, bring it on, take it on, and just, you know, being willing to accept the things that you don't understand and just being able to keep going and keep learning from it. Taking it head on is basically what I'm alluding to here. Trying to think of a good example of this. Embracing ambiguity. I don't know, I think it just comes back to appreciating the things you can control and not getting super hung up on the things you cannot control. And so it's just about enjoying the moment, knowing that you are a work in progress, and just appreciating that you get to learn each day, you know? There's been a couple days this week was like, oh, you know, I totally messed up and worked too much on writing than on my homework, or I had to stay up late doing this. But hey, we got some lessons done today. We learned a lot of how not to do this. And if you can appreciate when things don't make any sense, it really helps with appreciating when things do make sense. And so basically you get to enjoy whatever part of life you're at. But I feel like a lot of times, especially with entrepreneurship, you're often in this state of ambiguity. You're not sure if people are going to like what you're doing. And so you just kind of keep going with it, keep rolling with it. And this camera is moving way too much. Okay. But yeah, I think this is something I need to dive more into. But basically it's just about enjoying what's happening when it's happening, and just being okay with whatever happens and acknowledging that you contributed to this in some way. And also that there are some things that were completely outside of your control, and you did what you could do. You did what you could do, man, and you learned, and now you get to learn back from it. So those are my very quick tips. Again, number one was living in the present, taking advantage of those awesome little moments, like if somebody's doing a little snowball fight, taking part in that, if you have time, just doing all these different things that put the focus on other people and do the kind thing for yourself. Number two, being thoughtful and thinking of other people and doing things for them to help them out. Oh no, I fell. Sad. Come up. I feel like I'm fishing right now. Okay. That was really bad. Okay. And I had a really good thought with that, but it kind of slipped the mind. But yeah, just being thoughtful to people, thinking of them, helping them out, and just doing a good deed and thinking of how you can help them out. All those things will help you smile a lot more, help you care a lot more, and that just adds up a lot over time. And finally, planning ahead so you can get the results you want, and embracing ambiguity when you don't get the results you want and things just kind of don't go well. Because you can smile in pretty much any time of your life. And especially me, like the podcast has been such a blessing in my life. And if I'm working on the podcast, all of a sudden like smiles come out of nowhere because I know the podcast is helping people. It's helping me. And I'm just excited for the future of it. So working on it is exciting. So with all that in mind, I hope this episode was helpful for you in some way. Don't forget to follow the podcast for more episodes coming out every single Monday. Next week we'll be doing another interview. And yeah, subscribe to the podcast for more, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to yield today, and it will be a better tomorrow.